Afterward, in the quiet that followed victory, Lisa and Kayla stood once more in the garden. The vines glowed softly, replaying not words but feelings. Courage, unity, hope. You gave them more than time, Lisa said. You gave them a reason to fight together. Kayla looked at her, eyes full of starlight. And you gave me the courage to try. They did not know what the future held. More battles, perhaps. More losses. But for the first time in generations, two species faced the dark not as strangers but as allies, and in that shared light, even the deepest void felt less lonely. The victory over the Cathar fleet brought relief but not peace. The alliance between humans and Varelians held firm, yet both sides knew the enemy would return, stronger, angrier, and better prepared. Lisa remained on Virelia, no longer a guest but a trusted advisor. Kayla, now elevated to the Council of Unity, worked tirelessly to strengthen defenses and deepen cultural bonds. They spent their days in strategy chambers and their nights in quiet gardens, speaking less and understanding more. But the real war was not in space. It was in the hearts of those who still feared the unknown. Among humans, rumors spread that Varelians were manipulating Earth's leaders. Among Varelians, elders whispered that humans were reckless, that their emotions made them dangerous allies. Distrust simmered beneath the surface, waiting for a spark. That spark came in the form of a distress signal. It originated from the Outer Rim, a human colony called Haven's Reach, a small outpost built on a terraformed moon. The message was fragmented but clear enough. Cathar attack. Shields failing. No weapons, please. Then silence. Earth Command wanted to send a rescue fleet. The Varelian Council hesitated. Haven's Reach was deep in contested space. Sending ships there would be seen as provocation. Worse, if the Cathar had set a trap, the Alliance could lose its best vessels in one strike. Lisa stood before the Council, her voice steady despite her fear. That colony has 200 people, farmers, teachers, children. They are not soldiers. If we abandon them, we prove the doubters right, that this alliance only serves the strong. Kayla supported her, but even she could not sway the full council. The vote ended in deadlock. No rescue mission would be authorized. That night, Lisa packed a small bag. She didn't tell anyone, not even Kayla. She accessed an old maintenance shuttle docked in Sector 7, a vessel barely rated for short jumps, but it was all she had. She input the coordinates for Haven's Reach and prepared to launch. But as the ramp closed, a voice stopped her. You always run toward danger, don't you? Lisa turned. Kayla stood in the doorway, arms crossed, eyes glowing faintly in the dim light. I can't let them die, Lisa said. And I cannot let you go alone, Kayla replied. The shuttle's navigation is outdated. You'll never make it through the ion storms without Varelian shielding. Lisa hesitated. This isn't official. If we're caught, then we won't be caught, Kayla said, stepping aboard. We leave now. Before dawn, they launched under cover of darkness, the shuttle slipping past orbital sentries like a shadow. The journey was rough. Solar flares crackled against the hull. Twice they had to reroute to avoid Cathar patrol signatures. But Kayla's knowledge of hidden jump lanes and Lisa's sharp piloting kept them hidden. After 36 tense hours, they reached Haven's Reach. The moon was dark. No lights, no signals. The atmosphere was thin but breathable. They landed near the central dome, weapons ready, hearts pounding. Inside, they found horror. The colony had been raided but not destroyed. The Cathar had taken everything useful, power cells, medical supplies, food, and left the people alive but broken. Families huddled in corners, faces hollow with fear. Children clutched stuffed animals, eyes wide and silent. A woman approached, her hands shaking. Are you from Earth? Lisa nodded. We came to help. But before they could do more, alarms blared, not from the colony but from the shuttle. Sensors detected incoming ships. 3. Cathar design. They're coming back, Lisa whispered. Kayla's face hardened. They knew we would come. This was a test. We can't fight them, Lisa said. But we can't leave these people. Then we give them a chance to hide, Kayla said. And we give the Cathar something else to chase. They worked fast. Lisa helped the colonists into underground maintenance tunnels, old lava tubes reinforced during construction. Kayla reprogrammed the colony's comms array to loop a fake evacuation signal, making it seem like a large human fleet had already arrived and extracted everyone. Then, just as the Cathar ships entered orbit, Lisa and Kayla did something unexpected. They broadcast an open message, not in code, but in clear Varelian and human languages. We are here. Just 2 of us. No fleet, no weapons. If you want us, come down and take us. But know this, if you harm these people, the Alliance will not forget. And we will hunt you across every star until your name is dust." Silence followed. Then one Cathar ship descended. It landed 100 meters from the dome. A single figure emerged. Tall, armored in black chitin, face hidden behind a smooth mask. It walked slowly toward the entrance. Lisa and Kayla stood side by side, unarmed. The figure stopped 10 paces away. Then it removed its mask. Lisa gasped. Beneath it was not a monster, but a face. Sharp, weary, with eyes that held the same sorrow as Kayla's. "You are not what I expected," the figure said in broken human. "I thought humans were loud, greedy. You are quiet. We are what we choose to be," Lisa replied. The Cathar warrior looked at Kayla. "And you, daughter of Naira, you stand with them?" Kayla nodded. "They showed me kindness when I had none to give. I owe them my life." The warrior was silent for a long time. Then softly she said, "My name is Vora. I was once like you. I believed in peace. But my family died in the first purge. I joined the Cathar to survive. Now, I do not know why I fight." Lisa took a step forward. "Then stop fighting. Help us." Vora laughed bitterly. "They would kill me." "Not if you disappear," Kayla said. "We can hide you, and you can help us understand them. How they think, where they strike next." Vora looked back at her ship, then at the hidden colonists, then at the two women before her, human and Varelian standing as one. "I will not betray my squad," she said. "But I will not kill today. Tell your people to stay hidden for 3 cycles. After that, I cannot promise." She turned and walked back to her ship. It lifted off and rejoined the others. Minutes later, all 3 vessels jumped to warp. The colonists were safe. For now. Back on Varelia, Lisa and Kayla faced consequences. They had disobeyed direct orders. Earth Command demanded Lisa's return. The Varelian Council debated stripping Kayla of her title. But before judgment could fall, news arrived. Vora had defected. She contacted a neutral station and delivered encrypted data. Cathar fleet movements, weapon schematics, command structure. Her intel led to the destruction of a major Cathar supply hub. The tide was turning. The council convened again. This time there was no debate. Lisa and Kayla were not punished. They were honored. But the true test came weeks later when Vora herself arrived on Virelia. Alone, unarmed, seeking asylum. Many called for her imprisonment. Some demanded execution. But Kayla stood before the council and spoke. She chose mercy over vengeance. She saw us not as enemies but as people. If we punish her for that, we become the very thing we fight. Lisa added, "If we cannot forgive one who turns from darkness, how can we ever hope for peace?" The council agreed. Vora was granted sanctuary. She became an advisor, her knowledge invaluable. Slowly she began to heal. As seasons passed, the alliance grew stronger. Joint academies opened. Human children learned Varelian songs. Varelian youth studied Earth history. Lisa and Kayla traveled between worlds, not as representatives, but as friends who had walked through fire together. One evening, they stood on a balcony overlooking the Crystal City. The twin moons cast silver light on the spires. Below, Vora walked with a group of students pointing to the stars. "Do you think it will last?" Lisa asked. Kayla took her hand, not because of treaties or fleets, but because of moments like this. Because someone once gave a stone to a stranger. Because 2 women flew into danger for people they didn't know. Because an enemy chose to walk away. That is how peace is built. Not in grand halls, but in quiet choices. Lisa smiled. Then we keep choosing. And as the stars watched in silent witness, they did. Peace had taken root, but like all living things, it needed care. Lisa and Kayla now moved between Earth and Varelia not as visitors, but as threads weaving 2 worlds into one fabric. Schools taught both human and Varelian languages. Artists exchanged songs that blended Earth melodies with Varelian harmonic resonance. Even food changed. Spiced root cakes from Varelia appeared at human markets, while coffee beans grew in hydroponic gardens on the Crystal Plains. In the quiet hum of the xenobiology lab aboard the deep space research vessel, Orion's whisper, Lisa Taylor adjusted the magnification on her ocular scanner. Outside the reinforced viewport, the nebula known as Veiled Sorrow glowed in soft purples and blues, casting long shadows across the sterile white walls. It had been 3 weeks since first contact with the Varelians, tall, elegant beings whose skin shimmered like liquid silver, and whose eyes held galaxies within them. Among them was Kayla, the youngest daughter of the Varelian High Matriarch sent to observe human customs as part of the fragile peace accord. Kayla rarely spoke. She moved with a grace that made even the ship's artificial gravity seem clumsy. Her presence unnerved most of the crew, but not Lisa. Where others saw strangeness, Lisa saw curiosity. She noticed how Kayla's long fingers would hover near human objects. A coffee mug, a data pad, a child's drawing pinned to the mess hall wall, never touching, always watching. One evening, after another tense diplomatic meeting that ended in silence, Lisa found Kayla alone in the observation deck. The alien woman stood before the great window, her reflection ghostly against the star field. Lisa hesitated, then stepped forward. "You don't have to stand so far from things," Lisa said softly. "You can touch them." "It's okay." Kayla turned slowly. Her eyes, deep violet and unblinking, studied Lisa with an intensity that felt like being scanned by 1,000 sensors. "Your kind fears what it does not understand," she replied, her voice melodic but distant. "We have learned to be careful." Lisa nodded. "But not all humans are afraid, some of us. Want to share?" She reached into her pocket and pulled out a small object wrapped in soft cloth. It was nothing grand, just a smooth riverstone she'd picked up during a hike back on Earth, its surface worn by centuries of water and time. She'd carried it for luck ever since. "This is from my home," Lisa said, holding it out. "It's just a stone, but it reminds me of quiet mornings, of trees and birds and the sound of water. I thought, maybe you'd like to hold something real from Earth." Kayla stared at the offering. For a long moment, she did not move. Then, with deliberate slowness, she extended her hand. Her fingers brushed Lisa's palm as she took the stone. The contact sent a faint ripple through her silver skin like moonlight on a pond. "This is solid," Kayla whispered. "Warm." "It's been warmed by my hand," Lisa said, smiling. "And before that, by the sun." Kayla closed her eyes, cradling the stone as if it were a sacred relic. When she opened them again, there were tears, not water, but tiny droplets of light that hovered around her lashes before vanishing into the air. "On Virelia," she said, voice trembling, "we have not touched natural stone in generations. Our world was reshaped by war. All that remains is metal, crystal, and memory. To hold something shaped only by time and water, this is a gift beyond measure." Lisa's chest tightened. She hadn't expected such a reaction. "I'm sorry," she said. "I didn't know." "Do not apologize," Kayla said, stepping closer. "You gave without knowing what it meant. That is the purest kind of giving." From that night on, something changed. Kayla began joining Lisa during her off shifts. They walked the corridors together, Lisa pointing out human oddities, a squeaky door, a flickering light, the way crew members laughed over shared meals. Kayla asked questions, her curiosity blooming like a night flower. She even tried coffee once, wrinkling her nose but smiling anyway. But peace was fragile. Word came from Earth Command that Varelian border patrols had intercepted a human freighter carrying weapons disguised as medical supplies. Tensions flared. Accusations flew. The peace talk stalled. The Orion's Whisper was ordered to prepare for possible evacuation. On the eve of departure, Lisa found Kayla in the hydroponics bay, standing among the tomato vines and basil plants. The alien woman held Lisa's riverstone in one hand, her other tracing the leaves of a sunflower. "They will send me back," Kayla said without turning. "The council believes your people cannot be trusted." "That's not true," Lisa insisted. "One ship doesn't speak for all of us." Kayla turned then, her eyes full of sorrow. "I know, but fear speaks louder than truth." She stepped forward and pressed the stone back into Lisa's hand. "Keep it. Let it remind you that connection is possible even between stars." But Lisa shook her head. "No, you keep it. Carry a piece of Earth with you. Maybe one day you'll show your people that not all humans are enemies." Kayla hesitated, then nodded. She tucked the stone into a hidden fold of her robe near her heart. The next morning, as the Varelian shuttle prepared to detach, an alarm blared through the ship. Sensors detected an unauthorized vessel approaching at high speed, unmarked, armed, and broadcasting no identification. Panic spread. The captain ordered all hands to battle stations. But Kayla did not board her shuttle. Instead, she ran to the bridge, her silver form a blur against the red emergency lights. "That ship," she said, breathless, "is not human. It is the Cathar, a rogue faction that destroyed my homeworld surface. They hunt Varelians, and now they think you are sheltering me." The captain frowned. We can't engage. We're a research vessel, not a warship. Then we hide her, Lisa said. But Kayla shook her head. They will scan every molecule. They will find me. And they will destroy you for protecting me. Silence fell. Then Lisa spoke again, her voice steady. What if we give them something else to look at? She turned to the science officer. Can we reroute power from the lab to the external comm array? Broadcast a false signal. Make it look like the shuttle already left. Maybe, the officer said, but it'll take time. And if they scan closely— They won't, Kayla interrupted. If they believe I am gone, they will leave. But you must act fast. The crew worked frantically. Lisa and Kayla helped reroute systems, their hands brushing often in the chaos. Finally, a decoy signal launched. A fake shuttle signature heading toward the outer rim. The unknown vessel paused, then changed course, chasing the ghost. Relief washed over the bridge, but Kayla's face remained grim. They will return, she said, and next time they will not be fooled. The captain sighed. Then we must make sure they never find you. Kayla looked at Lisa. I cannot stay. It is too dangerous for your people. You're not leaving, Lisa said firmly. Not like this. Before anyone could argue, Lisa grabbed Kayla's hand and led her down to the cargo bay. There, hidden beneath tarps and crates, was an old escape pod, decommissioned but still spaceworthy. Lisa had been repairing it in secret for weeks, just in case. We'll take the pod, Lisa said. Head for the Veiled Sorrow Nebula. It's dense enough to hide our signature. We can wait it out. Kayla stared at her. You would abandon your post, risk your life. For me, Lisa smiled. I offered you a stone. You gave me hope. Now it's my turn to give you safety. They launched just before the Kethar ship doubled back. The pod shuddered as it broke free of the Orion's whisper, diving into the swirling colors of the nebula. Behind them, the research vessel powered down, playing dead. For 3 days they drifted in silence, listening to static and their own breathing. Food was scarce, oxygen low. But they talked about Earth, about Varelia, about dreams neither had dared speak aloud. On the 4th day, a new signal appeared. Not hostile. Familiar. It was the Orion's whisper, broadcasting on a private frequency. Lisa. Kayla. If you can hear this, the Cathar are gone. Earth Command and the Varelian Council have agreed to a joint investigation. The truth is coming out. Come home. Tears, real human tears, filled Lisa's eyes. Kayla placed a hand on her shoulder, her touch warm despite her silver skin. Together, they steered the pod back toward the ship. As they docked, the entire crew waited in the bay, not as soldiers or diplomats, but as friends. Weeks later, the peace accord was renewed, stronger this time. Kayla remained aboard, not as an observer, but as an ambassador. And Lisa, she kept a new stone in her pocket, one given to her by Kayla, a fragment of Varelian bedrock, cool to the touch, but glowing faintly in the dark. They never spoke of the escape pod again. But sometimes late at night, they would sit in the observation deck, hands almost touching, watching the stars swirl in silent understanding. Because sometimes, the smallest gift, a stone, a word, a moment of trust, can change the fate of 2 worlds. And in the vast cold of space, that was enough. Months passed aboard the Orion's whisper, and the bond between Lisa and Kayla deepened like roots in rich soil. The ship, once a place of cold protocol and cautious silence, now hummed with something warmer. Trust. Kayla no longer stood apart. She joined crew meals, learned to braid human hair, and even hummed Earth lullabies while tending to the hydroponic garden. Lisa, in turn, studied Varelian star maps, tracing constellations that held stories older than human civilization. They shared more than space. They shared time, the rarest currency in the universe. But peace, even when renewed, is never absolute. Far beyond the Veiled Sorrow Nebula, whispers stirred in the dark. The Cathar had not vanished. They had regrouped, and they had learned. One quiet cycle, as the ship orbited a quiet moon for sensor calibration, a faint anomaly appeared on long-range scans, a signal too regular to be natural, too faint to be accidental. It pulsed once every 17 minutes like a heartbeat buried in static. The science team dismissed it as cosmic interference. Kayla did not. She stood before the main display in the observation lounge, her silver skin dimmed with unease. That rhythm, she said, voice low, is a Cathar homing beacon. They are not hunting me anymore. They are mapping your routes, your supply lines, You're home, Lisa frowned. How can you be sure? Because, Kayla replied. I heard that pulse the night my city fell. It was the last sound before the sky burned. Alarm spread through the command staff, but Earth Command downplayed the threat. No evidence of hostile intent, came the reply. Maintain observation. Do not escalate. Lisa knew better. She saw the fear in Kayla's eyes. Not for herself, but for the humans who had shown her kindness. That night, over cups of weak tea in Lisa's quarters, Kayla made a decision. I must return to Varelia, she said. Lisa set her cup down too hard. What? Why? My people believe isolation is safety. They sealed our borders after the war, but if the Cathar are targeting humans now, it means they see us as allies, and if they destroy you, they will come for us next. I must convince the High Matriarch to act. To stand with you, you can't go alone, Lisa said. It's too dangerous. Kayla smiled faintly. I am not alone. You offered me a stone. Now I ask for your voice. Come with me. The request stunned Lisa. Humans were not permitted on Varelia. Their atmosphere, their microbes, their very presence was considered a contamination risk. But Kayla had influence. As the matriarch's daughter, she could petition for an exception, if she presented a compelling reason. And so, after weeks of coded messages and secret negotiations, clearance came. Not full diplomatic status, but a temporary cultural exchange. Lisa would accompany Kayla as a symbol of mutual curiosity. The truth, known only to a few, was that she was also insurance, a human witness, should the Cathar strike again. The journey to Varelia took 12 days through folded space. The Varelian cruiser, sleek and silent as a shadow, carried them past dying stars and ancient ruins. Lisa watched it all through wide eyes, her heart pounding with every jump. Kayla stayed close, her presence a steady anchor. When they finally arrived, Varelia was nothing like Lisa imagined. The planet was not dead, but transformed. Towering spires of biocrystal rose from the surface, pulsing with soft light. Rivers of liquid light flowed through canyons lined with memory vines. Plants that recorded sound and emotion, replaying them in gentle echoes. The air smelled of ozone and something sweet like crushed petals under moonlight. Yet beneath the beauty lay scars. Entire continents were encased in transparent domes sealed off from the open sky. The ground outside the cities was cracked and gray, poisoned by old wars. The Varelians lived in elegance, but it was the elegance of survivors. They were met at the landing platform by silent guards and a single elder, Matriarch Naira, Kayla's mother. Tall and severe, her silver skin etched with glowing lines of authority, she regarded Lisa with eyes that held no warmth. You bring a human into our heart, Naira said, her voice like wind through glass. Explain. Kayla stepped forward, bowing slightly. Mother, this is Lisa Taylor. She gave me a stone from her world when I was lost. She risked her life to protect me from the Cathar. She is not a threat. She is proof that trust is possible. Naira studied Lisa for a long moment. Then without another word, she turned and walked away. Follow, she said simply. Over the next few days, Lisa was confined to a guest spire, allowed only limited movement. Kayla visited often, bringing food that tasted like starlight and stories of her childhood. But tension grew. Reports came in. Cathar raids on neutral outposts, encrypted messages intercepted near human colonies. The evidence mounted. Yet the Varelian Council remained divided. Some argued for action. Others warned that involvement would invite annihilation. Lisa felt useless. She paced her chamber, watching the memory vines outside replay fragments of laughter and sorrow. She wanted to help. But what could one human do among a civilization that barely tolerated her presence? Then, on the fifth night, Kayla arrived with a plan. The council meets tomorrow, she said, urgency in her voice. If they vote to remain neutral, the Cathar will grow bolder. We must show them the truth, not with data, but with feeling. How? Lisa asked. The memory vines, Kayla explained. They absorb emotion. If you speak your truth near them, they will carry it into the council chamber. The elders cannot ignore what they feel in their bones. It was risky. Tampering with sacred flora was forbidden, but Lisa agreed. That night under twin moons, Lisa stood before the oldest vine in the garden. She closed her eyes and spoke, not as a scientist, not as a representative, but as a person. She spoke of her home, of forests and oceans, of children playing in parks. She spoke of fear, yes, but also of hope. She spoke of Kayla's tears over a simple stone and how that moment changed everything. She spoke of the pod in the nebula, of shared silence, of choosing to protect someone different. As she spoke, the vine glowed brighter, its leaves trembling, the air filled with a soft hum like 1,000 voices whispering yes. The next morning, the council convened in the crystal amphitheater. Elders sat in concentric rings, their faces unreadable. Matriarch Nira presided from the center. Kayla stood at the edge, her hands clasped tight. Then, without warning, the memory vines lining the walls began to shimmer. A voice, Lisa's voice, echoed through the chamber, clear and raw. Not loud, but impossible to ignore. It spoke of Earth, of kindness, of the cost of silence. Elders shifted. Some covered their ears. Others leaned forward, eyes wide. Matriarch Nira remained still, but her glowing lines flickered. Once, twice, like a heartbeat returning. When the voice faded, silence reigned. Then an elder from the outer ring stood. "I felt it," she said. "Not just words, truth." Another rose. "We have hidden too long. If the Cathar burn human worlds, they will come for ours next. We cannot wait." One by one, the council shifted. The vote was called. Neutrality was rejected. Virelia would join the human alliance, not as observers, but as partners. Afterward, Nira approached Lisa. "You spoke with your heart, not your rank," she said. "That is rare. Perhaps your kind is not as reckless as we believed." Lisa bowed her head. "We are flawed, but we try." "You will stay," Nira said. "Not as a guest, as a bridge." In the weeks that followed, Lisa worked alongside Virelian engineers and human diplomats to design joint defense protocols. Kayla became the face of the new alliance, her voice now heard across both species. And every evening she and Lisa walked the crystal gardens, watching the vines glow with shared memories. But the Cathar were not idle. Deep in the void, their fleet gathered. They had seen the alliance form, and they would not allow it to stand. One night, as Lisa prepared to return to the Orion's Whisper for a supply run, Kayla stopped her at the docking bay. "Wait," she said. "Something is wrong." Before Lisa could ask, alarms blared. Sensors detected a massive energy surge near the outer rim. Not one ship. Dozens. The Cathar had come, not to raid, but to conquer. Evacuation orders rang through the spire, but Lisa grabbed Kayla's arm. "Your people aren't ready. Their shields are calibrated for old weapons. They won't hold." Kayla's eyes widened. "Then we must buy them time." "How the old way?" Kayla said. "The way my ancestors used to delay invaders." A resonance pulse focused through the memory vines. "It won't destroy the fleet, but it will blind their sensors for hours." "It's never been tested on this scale," Lisa said. "It must be," Kayla replied, "and I cannot do it alone. The pulse requires two minds, Virelian and human, to harmonize the frequency. You must stand with me." Without hesitation, Lisa nodded. They ran to the central garden where the oldest vine coiled around a crystal monolith. Kayla placed her hands on the stone. Lisa placed hers beside them. Their fingers did not touch, but their intent did. "Focus on Earth," Kayla whispered. "On what you love. I will focus on Virelia, and together we will make them see what they are trying to destroy." Lisa closed her eyes. She thought of rain on leaves, of her mother's laugh, of the river where she found the stone. Kayla thought of crystal rivers, of starlight on memory vines, of the first time she held something warm and real. Energy surged. The ground trembled. Light erupted from the monolith, racing through the planet's network of vines, shooting into the sky like 1,000 shooting stars. It spread outward, silent and invisible, washing over the approaching fleet. On the bridge of the lead Cathar vessel, screens went dark, navigation failed, weapons locked. For 3 critical hours they were blind. On Virelia, the Alliance activated. Ships launched. Defenses powered up. The Orion's Whisper, recalled early, joined the line. When the Cathar sensors returned, they found not a helpless world, but a united front. They retreated, but not before losing 3 cruisers to coordinated fire. But the Cathar had not vanished. They had grown quieter, more cunning. Instead of open attacks, they spread lies. Forged messages claimed humans were stealing Virelian memory vines for weapons. Fake broadcasts showed Virelian ships firing on human freighters. Suspicion returned, slow and cold like frost on glass. Lisa noticed it first in the eyes of new recruits. Humans who had never met a Virelian, who only knew the old stories of silver-skinned invaders. Kayla saw it in the council chambers, where elders who once supported unity now spoke of caution and boundaries. The breaking point came when a human science outpost near the rim went silent. Its last transmission showed Virelian glyphs flashing on the security feed. Earth Command blamed Varelia. The Council denied involvement. Tensions rose. Ships powered up weapons. The Alliance teetered on the edge of war. Lisa and Kayla knew something was wrong. The glyphs were real, but they were outdated. Symbols no Varelian had used in centuries. Someone was framing them. They requested access to the outpost's data core. Earth Command refused. The Varelian Council hesitated, so they did what they always did. They acted anyway. Using a borrowed scout ship, they slipped past patrols and reached the outpost. Inside, they found no bodies, no signs of battle, just empty corridors and a single active terminal. On its screen, a looping message played. Varelia strikes first. Trust no one. Kayla examined the system. This was not Varelian code. It is Cathar mimicry, clever but flawed. See this energy signature. It matches their old scout drones. Lisa pulled up logs. The transmission was sent remotely. No ship ever docked here. They faked the whole thing. But proving it would be hard. The Cathar had covered their tracks well. They needed undeniable evidence, something both humans and Varelians would believe. Then Lisa remembered the memory vines. On Varelia, the vines recorded not just sound, but emotional resonance. If the Cathar had used a drone near the outpost, and if that drone carried traces of Cathar biosignatures, the vines on Varelia might have absorbed echoes of its presence during past flybys. It was a long shot, but it was all they had. They returned to Varelia and went straight to the oldest garden, where the central vine coiled around the monolith. Kayla placed her hands on the crystal. Lisa stood close, focusing her thoughts on the outpost, on the fake glyphs, on the fear they had caused. For hours they waited. Then faintly the vine pulsed. Images flickered in the air. Not clear pictures, but impressions. A dark shape moving through space, a sharp, angry energy, and beneath it a whisper of Cathar thought, let them tear each other apart. Kayla recorded the resonance pattern. It was enough. They presented it to both councils at once using a joint comm link. The Varelian elders recognized the Cathar emotional signature instantly. Human scientists confirmed the energy pattern matched known Cathar tech. The truth spread fast. The outpost incident was exposed as a deception. The fleet stood down, the alliance held, but the victory felt hollow. The Cathar had almost succeeded, not with weapons but with doubt. And doubt, once planted, was hard to uproot. Weeks later, Vora brought troubling news. She had intercepted a Cathar transmission meant for a deep cover agent. The message was simple: target the bridge. At first, no one understood. Then Kayla went pale. They mean us, she said. Not a place, a person. The bridge between species. They mean Lisa. Fear gripped the council. Lisa was placed under heavy guard. Her movements restricted. Kayla rarely left her side, but Lisa hated being caged. She had never asked to be a symbol. She just wanted to help. One night, unable to sleep, she wandered the garden alone. The memory vines glowed softly in the moonlight. She sat beneath the central monolith, tracing the grooves in the stone with her fingers. You should not be out here, a voice said. Lisa looked up. Vora stood nearby, arms crossed, expression unreadable. I needed air, Lisa said. I feel like a prisoner in my own life. Vora stepped closer. The Cathar fear you, not because you are strong, but because you are kind. Kindness is a weapon they cannot break, so they try to remove you. Lisa sighed. I'm just one person. You are the first human a Varelian ever trusted, Vora said. That makes you more than one person. That makes you a beginning. They sat in silence for a while. Then Vora spoke again. There is a way to end this. Not with war. With truth. How, Lisa asked. The Cathar are not all monsters. Many joined out of fear like I did. If they see that peace is real, that humans and Varelians live as one, they may lay down their arms. But they will not believe words. They must see it. So what do you suggest? A broadcast, Vora said. Not from a ship or a station. From the heart of Varelia. Show them daily life. Children playing together. Shared meals. Songs. Let them see what they are fighting to destroy. Lisa's eyes lit up. And if we invite a Cathar defector to speak, someone they know, like me, Vora said quietly. It was risky. If the Cathar saw Vora as a traitor, they might retaliate harder. But if it worked, it could fracture their unity. Kayla agreed immediately. The council was divided, but Matriarch Naira overruled them. If we hide our peace, it is not peace, she said. It is fear in disguise. Preparations began. They chose a clear night when both moons were full. The broadcast would originate from the central garden, where the memory vines could amplify the emotional truth of the moment. On the chosen evening, hundreds gathered, humans in simple clothes, Virelians in flowing robes, children of both species holding hands. Lisa stood beside Kyla. Fora stood alone at first. Then Lisa took her hand and pulled her into the circle. The broadcast began. No speeches, just life. A human girl taught a Virelian boy how to skip stones in a light river. An elder sang a lullaby in 2 languages. People shared food, laughed, helped each other. Then Vora stepped forward. "I was Cathar," she said, her voice steady. "I believed you were enemies, but I came here, and I saw something I did not expect. I saw my own pain reflected in your eyes, and your hope in mine. We do not have to be what war made us. Lay down your weapons. Come home." The transmission lasted 1 hour, then it ended. For days nothing happened. Then reports came in. Cathar patrols were withdrawing. Defectors arrived at neutral stations asking for asylum. One entire squadron surrendered, saying they saw the garden and could not fire anymore. The war was not over. But its heart had cracked. Back on Virelia, Lisa walked the garden alone again. This time she was not afraid. The vines hummed softly, replaying the broadcast in gentle echoes. Kayla joined her, silent as starlight. "Do you think it will be enough?" Lisa asked. Kayla took her hand. "It already is. You did not just save lives tonight. You gave the Cathar back their humanity." Lisa smiled. "I didn't do it alone." "No," Kayla said. "But you started it. With a stone. With a choice." They stood together as the twin moons rose, casting silver light on a world no longer divided. Somewhere out there, others were making their own choices. Small, quiet, powerful. And in those choices, the future was being born. Not with fire, but with trust. The quiet after the broadcast did not last. Peace, once fragile, now faced a different kind of threat. Not from enemies, but from time. As months turned into years, the alliance grew strong, but its founders grew weary. Lisa's hair gained silver strands. Kayla's movements, once fluid as light, slowed with the weight of duty. They had given everything to build a bridge between species. But bridges need tending, and neither had rested in a long time. On Earth, a new generation rose. Children who had never known war, who spoke Virelian as easily as English, who saw silver skin not as strange but as familiar. On Virelia, human music played in crystal halls. Shared holidays were celebrated under twin suns and single moons. The memory vines now held echoes of laughter from both worlds, tangled together like roots of the same tree. But the Cathar had not vanished. Their numbers shrank, their fleets scattered, yet their leader remained, a shadow known only as the Hollow Voice. No one had seen him. Some said he was machine. Others claimed he was the last true Cathar, twisted by grief into something unrecognizable. He sent no messages, launched no attacks. He simply waited. Then, without warning, he struck, not with ships but with silence. A deep space relay station went dark. Then another, then a whole network. Communications between Earth and Virelia flickered, then failed. Panic spread. Without comms, coordination collapsed. Supply lines stalled. Joint patrols drifted apart. Suspicion returned, not loud but whispering. Lisa and Kayla knew this was no accident. The Hollow Voice was cutting the threads of their alliance. One by one, they boarded the Orion's Whisper, now upgraded faster, armed but not aggressive, and set course for the outer relay hub, the last node before total blackout. Fora came with them, her knowledge of Cathar tactics invaluable.